Microsoft Dynamic ERP Gold Certified Partner. At Brightpoint Infotech, we pride ourselves on our expertise and commitment to delivering exceptional Microsoft solutions. We offer a comprehensive range of services tailored to meet your unique business needs. Today, we will be discussing about vendor invoice automation and invoice capture, how this will be working in Dynamic 365 Finance. Let's start discussing it. You see, invoices can come through different channels. We can receive it manually. We can receive by email, or we can also integrate with some external systems. Through all these channels, we can receive the invoice. Some companies even use a folder to dump their invoices, and from there, the invoices can be captured. So in order to transfer these files, these digital files, we use OCR method. There are different applications available in the market today. It will upload these files and use the OCR application in order to convert them to an invoice record. So that's what you see here. The invoices are received through different channels, and the system use any of the OCR application to upload the invoice and then convert them to a digital record, and then invoice is created. Once the invoice is created, it moves to the accounts payable clerk, who will verify them, review them, and apply the prepayments required, receipts matching, invoice validations, and then send for the approval workflow, where the approval flow will be completed and finally it will be posted. After the posting, it will transfer to the invoice payment, and that's the way to it functions. So now, after this new feature, invoice capture in Dynamics 365, how it helps. So let's discuss about the benefits. So this application is more beneficial to those organizations which receives, say, something like around more than hundreds of invoices in a day, and to complete recording them and processing them, that will take lots of time. And not only that, it's really time consuming and also prone to the errors. So invoice capture is very useful for these companies to automate the process of converting these digital documents, which is received by email or by manual files or anything, and then convert into a invoice record. The more advantage here is that the accounts payable clerk takes lots of time to record these invoices that received, and once it is received, it will be transferred to the workflow process. So in all these activities, lots of errors can happen if the number of invoices are a lot. Invoice capture, how it will be handled. Whatever be the source, whether it is a paper format or an email, or you might be having some invoice portal where you receive the invoices, we can automate these sources to collect these files and then convert them to a digital record, and we call them the captured invoices, and to create finally a vendor invoice record. So this is what the invoice capture application does. So we will discuss all about this in the system, and I can explain you more about that. Once we finished, so when we received the invoices, we converted them to the digital record. We can also do a automation process to conduct the verifications based on each organization's policies, the matching apply the, matching with the purchase order lines, applying the prepayments, all such kind of verifications we can automate. Once that is automated, once it is completed, it will be transferred to the approval workflow. So let's see how it functions in the system. So for this purpose, let me show you which details I shall be using. I created a purchase order here. I just call it test PU001 for a vendor fabric app. Let's see what is inside this. So this purchase order has 3 lines with 3 different product item details you can see here, and you can see each of these are having 100 quantity. All the details are recorded. I already received these items. Now I am going to receive the vendor invoice. So this is the invoice I have. So this invoice is for 5 quantity of each of these items. I have a line item, I have a tax detail here as well as the invoice amount. So I'm now uploading this invoice, this PDF file into the system. I can use email, I can use some shared folder. Different channels can be configured. That's not any problem. But so for making it more easier and faster, let me upload this file into the system and let me show you how the system will process that. So for this, I have Dynamics 365 invoice capture. It is based on a Power Platform. You can see the dashboards here, which will provide you some insights about the invoice captured in last 30 days. Different details you'll be able to see here. So in order to upload the invoice, as I said, you have different channels you can use, like emails, folders, or external system integrations, whatever with that. In whichever the channel you're using, once it is configured, system will automate tracking these sources and picks whenever an invoice received at these locations or the sources, system pulls this data and bring into under the received files. Usual. So these are all some data which has cancelled. So let me show how to upload a file and see how this capture function happens. Using upload a file. I will drag and drop this file in this place. Once I drag, I'll upload it to the system. Once uploading is completed, you can see the status. It takes some time to process to convert this PDF file to the record. I can use the refresh to see the status. Now it's under processing. So once it's processed, it will move out from here and it will be available under the captured invoices. You can see different invoices which has been captured. And you can also see the status here, errors and warnings. You can configure the system in such a way, what's the decision to be considered, or what are the factors to be considered before we transfer this record to the Dynamics 365. So we have configured that, okay, if there is no errors, transfer completely. If there is warnings, it's not an issue. We can also set policies like okay, it should be mandatory. Vendor name need to be captured. Invoice date has to be there, and also the amount has to be there. So these are the conditions we have put into the system. Once these are identified, system will automatically transfer. Let's see, there are some warnings here, but there is no errors as of now. It's still waiting. If all the conditions applied as per the settings, system will transfer into Dynamics 365 Finance. Let's hear that it happens. It's still waiting. So if you think that you should not transfer the invoice to Dynamics 365 if you have warnings, that also can be configured. So in that case, if there is a warning, system will wait here the way this record is here, which is under review, and then once it is corrected, you can push to Dynamics 365. It takes some time. That's it will come. By that time, let me show you how it record looks like. So any document you see here, so this is the way the warnings and errors are displayed. So you can correct, the system allow you to correct them. You can ignore them or you can correct them, whatever you like to have it. It also show you the percentage of the confidence to make sure to say that, okay, this is the way the system has identified. See, it uses an AI functionality to verify what is the confidence level for each of these identified records, and that the confidence provides you the information, and you can decide whether to ignore or you need to change it. The system will allow you to change that, all the details. Once you complete it, you can complete your review. So I'm not doing for this case. Let me see the status of the previous one. It's still moving on. To take some more time. Yes. Now you see that record captured is transferred to Dynamics 365. So in Dynamics 365 Finance, if you go to under Accounts Payable, and when I come under the pending invoices, you will see that record is being pushed here. So once it is here, it will go through the account payable process the way it has been configured. And from here onwards, we can automate further with respect to matching to the purchase order lines, applying prepayments. All this functionality can be applied. Currently, none of those rules are applied, and so you can see that it's yet to run all those validations. So it takes time. It is based on your batch schedule. Whenever the batch runs, the system will validate them and review them, and then it will move to the approval workflow. So before that, let it run, let it happen. Let me show you one record which has already been transferred and completed. That will give a better understanding. So I'm in the purchase order. Go to the invoice. Let me see the invoice journals. I have my previous invoices here, which is transferred. You can see the invoices and that file attached. And if I want to see what is the automation status, I have something here, view automation history. The system will provide you all the action conducted against to that particular invoice. You see that it is what are the rules applied. So currently we haven't applied any of those rules. If you're based on your setup and policies, all the rules will get applied here. We go to this invoice. And see all those details here. Lines. So likewise, as I explained, the system can automate the functions from the invoice received up to a level of completing the workflow process and then transfer to the payments. The system can manage the automation related to these activities.